Season 54, war number 7. And today we matched against Nath. Bands are Corvus, Gladiator, Photon, Titania, and Null. And my team today is Prowler, Medusa, and Morbius. And we're going to be starting on Path 1 this war against this Toad. It was pretty easy to plan my this war because I'm the only Medusa in the battle group and the only Prowler in the battle group, except for the one that's on defense. At least I think, according to my roster sheets, they might have been updated, but either way, I was going to give myself Prowler this war, and I can use him to take this Toad. I need Prowler mainly for a mini, not for this fight, obviously. And if you see me play Prowler weird in this fight, I promise I actually know how to use him. I was just doing it a little bit funky because of personal space regen, trying to manage that a bit more. Because you cannot use Despair to control Toad, and Prowler doesn't really have a lot of debuffs to benefit from Despair anyway, so we just kind of have to out-damage his healing, which, you know, Prowler's pretty good at that because he hits very hard, and then that Toad goes down, so... we move on to Red Skull on node 10. With the bans of this war, Medusa is the only champion I like to send to this fight. So that just meant that I had to take it. I guess Beta Ray Bill could probably do it, but either way, I wanted to send Medusa. And so I did. And we're taking her basically the same way I did in War 1 when I took Medusa. I just need to have some really on-point light intercepts because he's going to be unblockable like the whole fight. So I'm just going to have to deal with it. But as long as I manage my spacing, doing his special ones well, then we can just counter them like that, which I don't do. So instead of punishing his special ones with heavy attack, I just decide I'm going to knock him down with special ones for the slow. Now maybe I could have adjusted and used 2 dashbacks on the SP1. For the final hit, and then gone for heavy there. That probably would have connected, but it doesn't matter. He goes down in 45 seconds, and we only took that one hit, so. We move on to Path 9. Originally, I was going to send a Silk here, but I needed Morbius for a mini-boss, and it was like, you know what, I can Morbius these fights. They're not that hard with Decay tactics, so that's what we're going to be doing. Basically, just Decay does the funny thing where it reduces damaging effects from the opponents by 35% per debuff on the opponents, and Morbius does have a lot of debuffs, so we just get our fervor up early, start spamming those bleeds, and then we don't take any damage from Hazard Shift or Onslaught's Narrow Shocks, and then it's just about getting to my SP2, doing a bunch of damage that way, and hopefully Onslaught's dead. Except I lose so many bleeds here because he just takes forever to throw his SP1. And then I accidentally parry when I'm trying to dash back. So here I'm like, fine, I guess I'm just going for it with only 12 bleeds. I could have 1 SP2'd him if he threw his frickin' SP1, but whatever. This is fine too, it just makes the fight last longer. Anytime I don't have a Narrow Shock on me, I can just dash into Onslaught's special one, just like that. And I just need to, again, make sure I don't have a Narrow when I'm trying to do it, and also have my Glide, because that's pretty important. There, I just got it back in time, but we're going to get to the special 2 right there, and then he goes down. So, not too much longer than it needed to be, but still very annoying AI experience there. Move on to America Chavez on node 36. Same game plan as Onslaught, basically, except I don't believe I throw an SP1 in this fight. And then we do not reduce damage from one eye open. Decay does not hit that, which is pretty interesting, because I'd assume it would be categorized the same way, but it's not. That and Brute Force, I know for certain, are not categorized that way, so that's interesting. Anyway, we're going to counter here SP1 there. Place extra bleeds, go for the SP2 with only 16 of them, and it's plenty enough damage to nuke the Chavez down in 23 seconds. So, there we go. We move on to the mini-bosses now, and this is why I wanted Prowler, because Prowler, I think, is the best option for this fight, especially if Northstar is unduped, which he is. If he is awakened, then you have to deal with his physical resist from his SIG ability. which does make Prowler slower. But Prowler's really good for this fight because once that natural power reserve triggers from the node, he's just going to power drain the opponent anyway, so they really don't have cheaper specials, which is pretty great. So it's just about heavy countering his SP1s, and then we just power drain him all the way, do normal Prowler things, and he's going to die. Going to go for not an intercept there. I'm just going to let him throw a special 1. I don't have max power creep, but that's okay because this is still going to do an absurd amount of damage. I probably could have hit a little bit in the falter before dropping the SP2. Decided not to for some reason, but it doesn't really matter. Falter is not on cooldown now, which is great as well, because that means we can get it right back with that medium heavy attack here. Places some ruptures, no incinerate. Oh wait, I did have the incinerate. That heavy attack just didn't place it. And then the ruptures are plenty enough damage to finish him off. Could have sent future Ant-Mans there, I suppose, as well there, I suppose, but I wanted to take the fight myself because I trust myself the most usually with fights. That's just kind of how I am. My battle group is great. It's just I'm one of those do-it-yourself kind of people. Anyway, we're fighting LDS now on node 43. It's just another decay is funny kind of fight because we ignore hazard shift like that. LDS is going to be highly bleed resistant because that's just how she is. So we're not going to have a lot of damage that way, but Medusa's basic attacks still hit very hard, so there's that. I am just going to be intentional about getting my slow up by baiting LDS's heavy, and then using a heavy of my own to counter it. Really easy heavy punish. She has one of the easier heavy punish attacks in the game. And then we're going to go for an SP2 right here just before the armor break fall off. It does not kill her, but she's only at 4%. The slow is active, so I can just easily let my dex buff fall off and not worry about it. And then my SP1 finishes the job with me at full health. So nice and clean fight there. And then the final fight this war is Enchantress on node 49 with Morbius. Morbius is a pretty good option for this fight. Probably, I think he's like the only great science champ option with damage over time to take this fight. However, I have sent MCoC here. MCoC is good at farming both polka dot power, removing the stun reflect node, and also using decay to counter her damage reflect. So those are all good qualities for this, but my big MCoC player needed other champs this war, so I just decided that I was going to take it with my Morbius, which is fine because it's a relatively easy fight. It's just sometimes I don't want to drag a champion on my team for just one fight. Then again, it wasn't that big a deal. Last time I took this matchup, actually, I almost screwed it up because I just messed up a lot. But this time it goes very well. She is going to drop some SP1s. Usually my goal versus Enchantress is to push her to a special 3 with an invul boost. And that is going to happen once in this fight, I think, where I do push her to an SP3. I did let her throw SP1s more than I should have. The way that Enchantress goes wrong, I like to say, is when you don't stay in control of the fight. Because yes, AI is going to do AI things, but you as the player can still control a lot of what they do. So if you let your block down for just a fraction of a second, she's going to take that opportunity to throw a special 1. Her AI is coded to do something like that. So if you just don't ever let go of block, unless she's charging heavy and stuff, then she's going to be as reverse inclined. I needed better wording there, but whatever. As unlikely, I should say, to throw her SP1 as you can possibly get. And that fight goes down in a minute and 44 seconds, so not that bad at all. And then we did win this war 7-3, so another 2 war wins in a row, which is pretty nice. A little bit back on track to get Masters. We might still need to win our last 2 wars. I think we'll just have to see what happens. But this was a very nice win for us, so yeah, feeling pretty good right now. Alright, if you guys enjoyed watching this video, hit like, hit the sub, all the YouTube things I'm obligated to tell you. I do really appreciate it, and then I will see you in the next video.